Hello everyone, welcome to the new video. And today we will discuss about the comment that I got that I should make a detailed video on the introduction that we give as a DevOps engineer during our interview, or when the question is asked that what is your current role and responsibilities in your organization. So how should we frame our answer? So, first of all, the first question that they will ask that give your introduction and things like this. So, whenever it is a technical interview, you should try to give focus more on technical skills in that introduction rather than giving your background details like your family details and everything. That is not that much required. You should more focus on skills and where you have worked, in which branch you have done your graduation, things like this, rather than giving more family details in the technical discussion. Introduction is not preferred. So basically you should start with that my name is ABC, and you should mention that I have total this much years of experience working in this company. And if you have worked in multiple companies, you should tell everything that you have worked earlier in these companies, and then mention everything. And if you are serving notice period in your current organization, mention that, highlight that I am currently serving notice period over here in my current organization. Secondly, you can tell about that where you have done your schooling from, and then you tell about that where you have done your graduation and in which branch, in which field you have done your graduation. That's it, I would suggest. Then talk about that regarding my skill sets. um then see, I would suggest, if you have good hands on DevOps, and you are confident enough that you will be able to answer the questions, you have good knowledge, then tell that like throughout your professional experience you have worked as a DevOps engineer, and tell that, and then mention the tools. Else I would suggest, if some people like they don't have that much hands on for DevOps, or they are like little bit, they did some or the other tools, but they are themselves done a self practice and then they are giving interviews. So for them I'll suggest that don't tell that you were working on DevOps fully since the time you started your career. You should tell your relevant experience less than the total experience, I would suggest, so that the interviewer gets an idea that okay, you have worked for this much year only. So the level of questions that the interviewer can ask will be little bit according to your experience. So that would be my suggestion. So you can tell that for few years you were working in support team, or you were working for in automation and scripting, but then you got an experience on cloud and scripting, then you started developing interest in DevOps, and you started learning the DevOps tool, and then after that you got the chance to work as a DevOps engineer in your company, where you worked on tools like GitHub, Jenkins. Then see, I would suggest that sometimes people miss out tools. So start with first version control system, GitHub, then CI/CD pipeline, Jenkins, and if you are using AWS code pipeline, then mention that. If you are using Azure pipeline, then mention that. And for containerization, you are using Docker. Then for container orchestration tool, you are using Kubernetes or OpenShift, whatever you are using, you tell them. Then you tell, come towards the infrastructure as a code management tool, you have used Terraform. And if you have used Ansible as a configuration manager, tell them that you have no Ansible. If you have good hands on these tools, then tell them that I have worked on it. If you don't have that much hands on, tell them that you have learned it and you don't have that much hands on, but you know how to write and the file and the script for Terraform. Then if you have SQL, mention that. If you have knowledge of Maven, mention that. If you have knowledge of PowerShell, mention that. And mention about the cloud platform that you are confident about. Like if I'm confident in AWS, I'll be mentioning that I majorly work on AWS cloud platform. And if you know Azure or GCP too, then mention that I know services of Azure and GCP too, but my major area of work is on AWS. So something like this you will frame. If you know Python also, then mention that. If you have written Python script and if you are confident enough, you mention Python too. And whatever tools whatever skills you have, like monitoring tools you have worked on, Prometheus, Grafana, mention that those tools and go line by line. Okay, so that it is easy for you to remember. Sometime when people just start randomly picking up the tools, they miss one or other tools. So I would say go line by line so that it is easy for you to remember and recall. And so this much introduction is enough, I guess, when they ask you how to introduce yourself. So after this, their next question mostly is that what are your roles and responsibilities in your project. So tell them, like if you were into scripting and something, so you tell them that basically I was doing automation by writing scripts in Bash or Shell. So and mention the scripts that you have written, which you think if the logic or something, if interviewer asks, you'll be able to answer. So mention, like if you have written script to shut down the dev servers, mention those. Of if you have written any script to for cost optimization, if you have written any script for file processing, if you have written script for checking the resource utilization and something like that, so mention those scripts where you want to highlight that you have worked on these scripts. And if an interviewer asked you question on that, so you are able to answer also in that case. After that, or if you have given support, you mention that I have been giving support to customers regarding whatever in the back end. If there was any issue happening in the pod, I used to debug them, and how the SR was raised, and how you were implementing it following the SLAs and everything. So basically you should tell everything. Then when I started working as a DevOps engineer, I started writing the pipeline code. And if first of all, as a DevOps engineer, your main role is to monitor daily if there is any issues, or if there is any issue going to happen. So monitoring is the first and foremost thing that DevOps engineers should look after. So you tell about that you have been doing monitoring of all the applications daily using Prometheus and Grafana, or whatever, using CloudWatch or Azure Monitor. You have configured alerts, so you have kept the threshold. And if any matrices crosses the threshold, then you get an alert and you start really working on it. And according to the root cause, you start debugging it with taking the teams in call who are involved in it. Or if there is any other configuration issue, then we have to look up on it. So basically you should start with this, because monitoring is the the foremost thing for DevOps engineer. Then if you see, all the DevOps engineer are not doing everything, so there are some roles and responsibilities assigned to every engineer. So I'll tell out what all points you can say according to what all tools you think you have a upper hand. So like you can say that you are good in writing pipeline scripts, and for that you have been using Jenkins earlier, and now you have shifted using AWS DevOps or Azure pipelines you have started. Then you have also worked on deploying of application on EKS or AKS or EC2 or ECS. You can mention that if you have knowledge about deploying of application, and if you think if any questions are asked you will be able to answer. Then basically this, and then you have also configured this monitoring tools for every application. So basically my daily task is when I log in, first I monitor that if there is any issue happening, or if there is any alert coming. If there is any requirement for creating the pipeline, for that we start working. We have 1 month sprint where we talk about all the tasks that we are going to do in a month, and we collect the requirements, and we start designing, and then implementing it, then testing. So likewise you can explain. And then then if any migration is to be done, or if any deployment is to be done, then we have to check on that as well. And always we have to work on the cost optimization, the things which can help in improving the cost. So for that we are searching for the technologies which can be used and more efficiently, so that we have to work upon. And if there is any existing issues, then if we are able to solve it, then we have to solve it, else we have to connect with the support team of AWS or Azure, or for Google team, so that our issue is resolved following the SLAs. We have 150 customers or something customers, whatever number of customers we are supporting. So their application should not run slow. And the if there are any any performance issues, we have to check upon that as well, and help giving the support to the support team members, like L3 support kind of thing. So you can mention all these daily roles and responsibilities when they are asked, and focus on things in which you think that if they'll ask, okay, they'll say that okay, you are good in writing, basically your role is to write this script, pipeline script and everything. They'll start asking question mostly on that. And if you say that you were writing shell scripting or something and you have good knowledge, so they'll ask you to write some shell script if they want, or they'll just ask you some commands. And yeah, basically if you are saying that you are good in networking and everything, so they'll accordingly ask you answers and questions. So basically you have to plan out that where you want your interviewer to focus and ask you questions. And wherever you feel that you are not that good, you can say that I am not working, not active on working on this tool, but yeah, I have little bit knowledge, and I am more learning about it, exploring about it to get more hands on. So this way you can tell. So also tell about your leadership qualities by saying that you have mentored your team members, and you have leadership qualities as well. Cost optimization you have done, and monitoring and deploying, and whenever this any migration was happening, you were playing a major role in it. So this way you can tell that how you have done, you have been a major part, and you have been taking responsibilities whenever you are required. So yeah, so that's all for today's video. So yeah, let me know any of your feedback. So yeah, that bye.